today we are going to start a completely new topic about provisioning plan. About provisioning plan. We will discuss about basics related to provisioning plan. Then we are going to see that how you can write your own Java code for provisioning, and then how this concept is going to be utilized, or how this concept is being utilized inside the Sailpoint at various places. So we'll go through all these things in the today's class. So let's first try to understand what is a provisioning plan basically. When I say about provisioning plan basically answers three questions. Who, what, any additional details. Who means that for which user or identity. What means which application and what operation. And in order to support this operation, what are all the additional details required? What are all the additional details required? So basically a provisioning plan answers who, what, and any additional details, where who stands for which identity you are basically triggering this provisioning plan. What says that, okay, for this identity, for this application, for this operation which belongs to this application, and in order to support this operation, what are all the additional details that are required. Now let me open a sample provisioning plan. Okay, let's see how a sample provisioning plan looks like. Now if you see this XML file, this XML file basically have a provisioning plan mentioned in the XML format. If you see, the plan is starting from here and getting end over here. Inside the provisioning plan, we have a native identity which basically says that, okay, boss, for which identity this entire thing is being carried out, for which identity this provisioning plan belongs to. And then you can see we have target integration, that is for which kind of connector. Then inside a provisioning plan, we have an account request. In the account request, what we have mentioned the application name, and then again the native identity over here. This native identity is basically the unique identifier in context with the application. The unique identifier in context with the application. And here the native identity is unique identifier in context with Sailpoint, that which user the entire provisioning plan belongs. Then for this application, we have this native identity, and for this application we are running the operation create. That is for create operation of DB app, this entire provisioning plan belongs. So what is basically this application name? This is the native identifier for this particular application, and then operation create. Now in order to support this operation create, these are the data which you need to pass. That is this, here you can see attribute a request. So attribute request will contain name value pair for the attributes and what kind of operation you are doing, whether it is just set, add, revoke, or there are a couple other operations which are possible, which we'll discuss here. So this is a sample provisioning plan basically. Let me, so we have in top, we have provisioning plan. Inside the provisioning plan tag, what we have mentioned? We have mentioned the native identity. This native identity which you are seeing in the provisioning plan tag, that is basically the unique identifier of the user inside Sailpoint. This is the unique identifier of the user inside Sailpoint. That is how you are searching a user inside Sailpoint. Then we have the next thing, account request. Inside account request, what we have mentioned? We have mentioned two things over here. One is application name, one is operation, and the third thing is native identity again. This native identity which you are seeing in the account request tag, that native identity is basically your unique identifier for the application. For example, if you try to understand it in this way. Let's say we have already seen that how provisioning works for LDAP system. We have seen for LDAP, we have DN attribute that was marked as unique identifier. DN attribute was marked as unique identifier, right? DN attribute was marked as unique identifier. That is for LDAP here. If I try to show you the provisioning plan for the LDAP server, you will be able to see that in case of native identifier equal to the username of the user, you will see this DN attribute over here. And then inside the account request, we have attribute request. Now, why this attribute request comes into the picture? In context with LDAP, let me explain you. When we try to submit a new account request from the Sailpoint self-service console, you might have seen that we need to fill up this provisioning policy form. If you remember, this policy form is attached against create operation. It was attached against create operation, which was basically saying that, okay, boss, for create operation, these are the additional attributes that you need to pass to the target system. So in order to support the create operation, these are the attributes. Similarly, over here also, it means the same, that in order to support this operation, what are all the additional details that are required? So account request will contain attribute request.